Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. A lot going on right now. Not going to waste too much of you all's time. Listen, as you all have known, a lot of content creators have already talked about this. A lot of news articles have already been dropped about this, but more Epstein files have been released. I do find it very strange that they constantly release these things in bits and pieces. It's just very weird. And I do believe that it's very strategic because each time that they do it, to me, you know, a lot of people already know that they do these things. Sometimes it's distractions, but what's most important is that we figure out what they're trying to distract us from. Sometimes it can be laws passed or them trying to start another war. I would highly encourage you all to go and check out my Elon Musk video. Again, I try to tell people this channel is extremely versatile. Of course, you're free to watch what you want. But I guess things like when I cover the Nick Fuentes psyop and the Elon Musk situation, that's not something you all are as interested in. It's very interesting to just test my audience and my supporters out to see what you all are interested in. I was very shocked about that one. I thought you all would be really into that one. So go and check that out if you haven't seen the Elon Musk video. Hit the like button on your way in if you don't mind. A lot of things, there were millions of documents released by the DOJ, but we're going to focus on three people in this video, really four, but three main people. It's going to be Jay-Z, Bill Gates, and Donald Trump. Jay-Z, Bill Gates, and Donald Trump. Some other people have already made great videos, so some of that stuff you all have already seen. So I'm going to talk about Trump last, mostly because I feel like that part you've heard already. All right. But the Jay-Z one is the one I want to hop right into. Again, I'm not going to waste too much of your time. Oh, yeah, let me just say this. The reason why I changed the time of my lives so much, I understand that can maybe come off as a bit unprofessional, inconsiderate, but there's a lot of things happening on this side of the camera that you all do not understand. So I promise you, it's always a good reason why I do it. All righty. Oh, yeah, let me say this too. Before I hop into this, you got to understand, if you haven't seen this video right here, ooh-wee, I would highly encourage you to go and check out the Drake, Jay-Z, and Diddy exposed by the Industry Publicist, a guy by the name of Jonathan Hay. He said a lot of things I had never heard before. He's worked in the industry. He's worked for Jay-Z. He's worked for Rihanna. He's been on the show 2 or 3 times. And the things that he stated in that video, if you've watched that video, you won't be surprised to hear some of these things that we're about to read about the allegations of Jay-Z, right? I'm not saying Jay-Z has done these things, the allegations. All right. So let's go ahead and hop right into the allegations against them. So anybody who's curious how to get to this right here, all you have to do is go to justice.gov/Epstein. And then there's going to be a search bar. And all you have to do is type in Sean Carter. That is Jay-Z's government name, of course, Sean Carter. And there's going to be a link. The very first link that pops up, you will be able to find yourself at this document. So it says Federal Bureau of Investigation, right? And there are several things redacted. Something else I just found out is that apparently they're not only redacting witnesses' names, but they're also redacting other people's and men's names that if the names were to be shown, it will be very easy to figure out who the victim is, whose name is also redacted. So allegedly, they're also redacting those people's names as well, right? We already suspect that they're redacting other things as well, and there's other documents that we'll never see, of course. But this is what they're giving us. So let's check out what this says here. But I want to make sure you all can read this with me. Put a 1 in the chat if you can see this, or if I need to zoom in anymore. Put a 1 in the chat for me. Put a 2 in the chat if you cannot see it. Okay, I'm seeing 1s. Everybody said they can see. Okay, I got a 2. I got mostly 1s. Everybody can see it. Nobody needs me to zoom in. 1.3. I got a 1.3. Okay. Oh, I see quite a few twos now. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just zoom in one more time, and hopefully that will suffice. All right. So hopefully this is good here. Again, I don't want to waste too much time because I know people are going to be watching on playback. So it says on 7/10/2019 at 8:20 a.m. Eastern Time, blank called the FBI National Threat Operations Center to identify herself as a victim of SA by Jeffrey Epstein and others. Blank provided the following information. In approximately 1994, Blank revealed herself to Blank as a past victim of SA by Epstein. Blank described the abuse occurred during parties. Blank further identified Blank as a friend of Blank. Okay. In approximately 1996, Blank resided with Blank in Blank. An unknown man abducted Blank from her home, whence she later awoke in the presence of Harvey Weinstein and Sean Carter, better known as Jay-Z, while Weinstein had inserted his fingers into, use your imagination. Blank believed she was in Epstein's mansion in Florida. Blank estimated she was abducted on 7 occasions, awaking each time in an opulent indoor setting. Blank suffered from SA on multiple of those occasions in which Epstein participated. Blank recalled Leon Black and William Barr. William Barr, as we've covered before, worked, I believe, in the first Trump administration back in 2016. And he also, I believe, either him or his dad was working at the school that Epstein was working at. And I believe, again, it was either William Barr or was someone else that was the author of that weird alien book that talked about this special planet where people would be there was this special group of people that was allowed to abuse underage human beings and was blackmailing some of the most powerful people in the world. It was almost like they were speaking about an actual place, but using it in the form of fiction. So yeah, I believe that's who William Barr is. Current United States Attorney General, being present during some of the occasions of abuse. In approximately 2006, Blank recalled being abused by Epstein. Okay. Here it says unclassified. On each occasion, Blank believes she was drugged, clouding her memory. Blank attributed the drugging as frequently performed by persons assigned as handlers, whom she described as persons who established friendships with the victims. Among her handlers, Blank identified the artist Pusha T. Whoa. Okay, that's interesting. In approximately 2007, Blank attended a party, Blank, following invitation from an unknown man who approached her as she walked down the street. Weinstein and Pusha T also attended the party and drugged her before engaging in SA. Blank claimed to have additional information of other persons involved in the enterprise and information related to racketeering conducted in the support of the, I can't say that word on YouTube. Blank further believes she was under surveillance and stalked at the direction of the people involved in the SA. Blank confirmed she was not diagnosed with any mental illness. Blank refused to provide her physical address, advising that she maintained no permanent address. Rather, she moved between staying at different hotels. Yo, what in the world? Hold on one sec. That is very interesting. That's actually very interesting. Let me get this photo pulled up for you all. That's very interesting. So, those of you that don't keep up with hip hop as much, I'm going to refresh your memory. For those of you that don't, of course, that photo doesn't save because nothing comes easy, of course. Let's try this again. That would have made too much sense. That's not going to work either, of course, because again, nothing comes easy. Let's try this again. Okay, now let's pull up this image. So for those of you that don't follow hip hop close enough, the guy here to the very far right is Pusha T. Obviously, the man in the middle is Sean Carter, aka Jay-Z. Now, Pusha T, this is very interesting. Drake is going to have a field day with this because Pusha T revealed a few years back that the artist Drake had a secret son that he was hiding from the world. He also was part of the whole campaign of exposing. Meek Mill was the first person to speak on it, but Pusha T was also the person to help expose the fact that Drake was using ghostwriters, which is an absolute no-no in hip-hop, right? This is very interesting because a lot of these people, because I've said it many times before, I'm going to keep repeating this. We have to understand that these are not just freaks. These people are performing in rituals a lot of times. A lot of times these are ritualistic acts that they're participating in. But when it's presented to the public, it comes off like they're just predators when it's far deeper than that. Again, I highly encourage you. I've already linked it in the description of this video. Go and check out that Jonathan Hay interview that I gave a couple of years ago, a year or two ago. Like you're gonna, it's crazy. It's crazy. But I also want you all to take a listen to what Jay-Z had to say. I mean, not Jay-Z, what Kanye West of all people. Again, I have mixed feelings about Kanye depending on the topic. I do believe that Kanye West is a truth teller when it comes to a lot of things. Like any other human, he's not telling the truth about everything, right? But I want you to take a listen to what he said here. This was, I believe, about a year ago, if that, where he was in the black KKK hoodie, robe, with the interview with DJ Academics, who's another hip-hop guy. Listen to what he had to say, not only about Jay-Z, but about Pusha T as well. Pusha T, who used to be signed under Kanye. I don't know if he still is or not, because Pusha T and his brother just recently released an album under Rock Nation, but I digress. Let's hear what Kanye had to say.
People like Jay-Z and Pusha T, they made their living killing our people. So how the fuck they gonna stand up for our people? You know what I'm saying? But we forget that because we love Jay-Z's music so much. We love Pusha's music so much, right? But you think they would ever, Beyonce had the best fit for somebody else? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You think they would ever tell the truth? No, if they told the truth, they'd go to jail. You know what I'm saying? So you have liars. Man. Liars are now the face of our culture.
That's going to go over so many people's heads because he's ranting. Even if people agree with him, I need people to understand what he's saying. I'm going to run it back. I'm going to run that back.
If you take people like Jay-Z and Pusha T, they made their living killing our people. So how the fuck are they gonna stand up?
Now, why would the timing of all of this is interesting because you have to remember Kanye West just apologized. He just issued a public apology. What, like 2 days ago, 3 days ago? Many people don't believe because it was a written apology. A lot of people don't believe that actually came from Kanye because we also covered that really weird interview that he gave with the rabbi who's affiliated with LeBron James and some other weird situations. It seems to be the person that everybody goes to. Do you think it's coincidental that Kanye West issues an apology and 3 days later, they dropped this file, these documents where it's implicating Jay-Z and Pusha T, which are it's just a random combination of people. Pusha T isn't the most popular person, especially outside of hip hop. Many of you all, if you don't follow hip hop, won't know who Pusha T is. Do you think it's a coincidence? I don't. Because I think the things that Kanye was saying in this interview is raining to be more credible. More credible. What does he mean when he says that they have unalived our people? Their message. Pusha T's entire image is about selling the most coke. How are you in your 40s, late 40s, early 50s, or whatever you are, still pushing this? I'm the biggest kingpin. Why would you be doing that? Why would you be doing that? Don't you have a family? Do you want your family, your children, your little boy to be hearing you talking about this? It reminds me of Cardi B. There's a viral video of Cardi B with all of her overly sexualized music, raunchy music, degrading music. Whether she's talented or not, doesn't matter. There's a video of her on like Instagram Live. Her little girl walks into the room where Cardi B is playing her own music. The moment her little girl walks in, she immediately cuts the music off. She doesn't want, and she's admitted herself, she doesn't want her children to hear her music. Why would you be participating in something that you're embarrassed about? Right? This is the same Jay-Z. Some people have said that this photo is photoshopped. I don't know if that's true or not. But he's wearing here in this photo a Do What Thou Wilt shirt. If you know, you know. Do What Thou Wilt is Aleister Crowley. That's an Aleister Crowley phrase. And just in case we have new people in the room, let's show them who Aleister Crowley is. Who's Aleister Crowley? Who is Aleister Crowley? This is Aleister Crowley. And this is the man that many people, not only in the music industry, but in Hollywood altogether, they openly love this man, openly worship this man. Right? Many people practice his quote unquote religion, which is called the Lima. So when you're hearing these things, you shouldn't be surprised, because this isn't just predators, man. It's deeper than just predators. There's other things that are taking place. All right. This is the same Jay-Z that allegedly was involved with a 15-year-old Foxy Brown. Let's see here. Hold on one sec. Was allegedly involved with a 15-year-old Foxy Brown. This is Jay-Z with Foxy Brown. He has music with a 15-year-old Foxy Brown where they're talking about some of the most explicit things in their music. There's been rumors and allegations for years that they were romantically involved. Of course, you can't call it that with someone that's underage. We know what we call that. It's impossible for that to be consensual. So no, this is not Beyonce. This is someone called Foxy Brown. In this photo, or around this time, Foxy Brown was 15 years old. She was telling people that she was like 18. She was 15 years old making music with Jay-Z, who was 23 years old at the time. And I want you to hear what she had to say when she was asked later in her life about her relationship with Jay-Z.
I was shocked when Jay said the line in Picasso Baby, yes, because we've talked about that. We have a history that supersedes music, and we know how this business works. We sit back and we laugh at those rumors. We laugh at that. I think he began to feel the pressure because people were saying my age, the age thing. She was 15, 14. She was 15, 14. And after a while, that gets to a person. The Jay I know, the Sean I know, never comes out of character. So
I never stuck my cock in the box.
Who says that? I never stuck my, you know what he said, in Foxy's box. This is a 14, 15-year-old at the time. Of course, he's much later in life. He's saying these things, but why would you even rap that, man? Right? Why is these? Oh boy. Let's see here. I'm just not surprised at all, dude. This has to be. Come on, man. I'm trying to get this image pulled up, and these things can just be so weird sometimes. Trying to work with this. Okay, here we go. That is amazing. That is absolutely amazing. Okay, let's try this again. Yeah, this is our boy Jay-Z with Harvey Weinstein. It's very similar to how Jay-Z and Diddy were almost like brothers. I'm pretty sure that Diddy referred to Jay-Z like a brother to him. But the moment that Diddy started, getting accused and was going through the whole ringer, all of a sudden Jay-Z completely separated himself from him. So it doesn't shock me at all to read that Harvey Weinstein allegedly, and Jay-Z were both in on whatever it is that we just read. And just in case anybody forgot, it says, in approximately 2007, Blank attended a party, Blank following an invitation from an unknown man who approached her as she walked down the street. Weinstein and Pusha T also attended the party and drugged her before engaging in SA. Up here, it says Harvey Weinstein and Sean Carter, let's see, an unknown man abducted Blank from her home whence she later awoke in the presence of Harvey Weinstein and Sean Carter, while Weinstein had inserted his fingers into Blank. Blank believed she was in Epstein's mansion in Florida. That is crazy, dude. That is crazy. That's insanity. But again, nobody should be shocked, because Jay-Z was also allegedly involved with, and I'm only saying allegedly for protection purposes, he was allegedly involved with Aaliyah when she was 15 years old, much like how R. Kelly was involved with Aaliyah when she was underage. Well, Jay-Z was also in the running for that as well. Of course, she also dated at the time, or a little bit later, she would go on to date Dame Dash, who was business partners with Jay-Z. But she was allegedly 15 years old when Jay-Z was like 28. 28 years old. Dog, like, insane. Insane. But his current wife, many of us should remember this. He was involved allegedly with Beyonce well before she was of age. I believe he was like musically involved with her when she was like 15, 16 years old. And then officially started dating her once she was 18. And of course, as we know now, they are quote unquote married with quote unquote children. I would, again, I want to protect myself and be careful with what I say and don't say. I'll just say this. Please go and watch my Jonathan Hay interview. Again, the link is in the description. You want to hear other things that Jonathan Hay alleges to have seen and to have known about Jay-Z, and you'll understand why I'm saying allegedly about his marriage, about his children, about all of it. These people, we don't know these people in real life. People think that they know them because we like their music, or they're gifted, or they're talented, or they're skilled, or they make catchy rhythms. We don't know these people in real life. We have to remember that. Right? But of course, it doesn't just stop with Aaliyah. It doesn't stop with Foxy Brown. You also have Rihanna. Rihanna, when she signed to Roc Nation under Jay-Z, she was 16 years old, and people forget she's from an entirely different country. She flew to this country without her parents, y'all. Without her parents. She flew here without her parents after she was discovered by two industry men who was in a hotel with her. All of this is public information. She comes over and then she shares this story about how she came into the executive's office, met Jay-Z for the first time. I mean, look at the way she's dressed. I just want you to imagine your 15-year-old daughter flying to another country to sing for a group of men who are complete strangers, unrelated to her. You don't find that weird? You don't think at least one of them won't have suggestive thoughts? Especially in the hip-hop industry? Of course. Why would they not? And you hold all the power. She's trying to impress you. Everything I say in this video is alleged. I do believe that Rihanna is an occultist. I believe I can very easily prove that in a breakdown. But that's a video for another day. Let's listen to Rihanna's encounter with her first time meeting Jay-Z and what Jay-Z allegedly told her.
So tell me about your audition with Jay-Z. Tell me what he said to you.
A really good audition.
Yes.
But before I met him, I was so nervous. I was shaking literally. But the moment I walked into the office, the atmosphere was so warm and welcoming.
And you had to sing a cappella for him?
Yes, I had to sing. I sang Ponder Replay. I sang another ballad from the album last time.
So then what did he say to you? He said something to you.
Oh yes, he said, we don't sing songs here, we sing artists. And there was this little pause, and I was nervous. But then he said, and we're interested. And there was this sudden feel of relief.
But then he said something about a window and a door or something.
Oh, then he said, he did a homework.
I did a lot of homework on you, this lady.
He said, there are two ways to leave here, either through the door with the deal sign or through this window, and we're on the 29th floor.
So you was like, where's the pen? Where's the paper? I'm signing.
Yeah.
You was like, where's the pen? Where's the paper?
We're on the 29th floor. There are two ways to leave here, either through the door.
So let me see. I'm trying to get the right close up on her. Okay. So you have a 15, 16-year-old meeting a man 10, 15 years her senior, maybe older than that, maybe 15, 20 years her senior, maybe about 15 years her senior. She's half naked. In the industry, if you're a woman, you almost have to 100%, be very sexually suggestive with your outfits, your behavior. It's almost a given. Do anybody remember the artist? What's her? I forget her name, but she had the paper planes. And then like us, and then like us, like us, and nigga swag John like us. She was also signed to. She was affiliated with Jay-Z them, but people don't know her story. MIA, thank you so much. That lady shared a story, man, about how, first and foremost, she alleges that Jay-Z or somebody did, from the legal side of things, had her kids taken from her, something to that extent. But she made an argument about how the reason why we don't hear from her anymore is because after her song went viral, and I'm just sharing all of this off memory because this was crazy. She said they came to her and told her, listen, there's going to have to be some things about your image that's going to have to change. You're going to have plastic surgery, which is a given. You're going to have to wear tons of makeup. You're going to have to do some things with your hair. Your outfits are going to have to completely change. You're going to have to adapt to this Western philosophy. She said, I'm not doing that. I think I'm beautiful the way God made me. She specifically said Jesus Christ's name. I think I'm beautiful the way God made me. She said her career went downhill when she said that she could not and she would not submit to having surgery and lip fillers and sexualizing herself. It was over with. She said because she wasn't marketable anymore. So the purpose of me bringing it up is to say Rihanna is coming to an industry where she if she didn't understand it before, she definitely understood it by that point. So she's standing there and he tells her, you're either going to sign, there's only one way out of here. You're signing or you're going through this window. And of course, he says that in tongue in cheek. But the time that this conversation actually happened was 3 a.m. Do anybody know what 3 a.m. is called? Oh, yeah, and that's right. That bleaching your skin is another very common thing. What is 3 a.m. called? Somebody's going to know it, especially somebody who's been following this channel for at least a year. What is 3 a.m. called? Bingo. Absolutely. The witching hour. This conversation between Jay-Z, why are you talking to a 15-year-old 3 o'clock in the morning? You can't wait till tomorrow afternoon? 3 a.m.? Her parents aren't with her? That's weird. It's weird. It's weird. Anyways, let's move on to our next person. I can make a whole video on Jay-Z another time. I think I've gotten that point across. Jay-Z and Pusha T has been named in the Epstein files. I did not wake up today expecting to see that. Who is the next person? Mr. Bill Gates. This is probably the most disgusting part. All of it is disgusting, but disgusting for different reasons. Let's go here and read what was stated about Mr. Jeffrey Epstein. Let me make sure you all can see this. Okay. Hopefully that helps. So it says here, wow. In the Epstein emails, DOJ dropped. Okay, let me reread that. In the Epstein emails, the DOJ dropped. Jeffrey Epstein sent himself emails memorializing a fight he had with Bill Gates. In it, he says that Bill Gates got STDs from Russian hookers and then asked Jeffrey for antibiotics that Bill could secretly give to Melinda without her noticing. And I actually got a treat for you all. This is the email, but instead of me reading the email, I have an audio version of the email. Listen to this.
I cannot believe that you have chosen to disregard our friendship, developed over the last 6 years. I am aware that accidents happen. It is how each of us has chosen to deal with this unfortunate event that has me dismayed beyond comprehension. You have decided to discharge me from my job. You had Larry, your PR person, tell me that I engaged in morally inappropriate behavior. He asked me to be the major actor in a cover-up so that you can maintain the reputation that you have worked so hard to achieve. You asked me to recommit to a confidentiality agreement and have categorically told me that we cannot have any direct, ongoing business relationship. This is in total disregard for its impact on the public perception of my reputation. I will have to diligently avoid the truth. I will have to tell people that Bill will not invest with me and craft an answer that suits your needs. You did agree to send a letter of recommendation should a future employer ask for one. You have told me that Melinda insists on me not communicating with you unless Larry is copied or present, though you have consistently maintained that I could not have done a better job and that I was underpaid compared to my contribution. You then, beyond all sense of fairness and frankly decency, said that as generous compensation for keeping the Gates reputation intact, you would let me keep what we agreed I had already owned, the investment pieces, and give me 2 years severance, similar to Christine Turner, another casualty. If the shoe was on the other foot, I would have said, this is not your fault. I confessed to Melinda. It was in a moment of weakness, and I will do anything within my power to make it right for you. I have more money than anyone needs. I will bend over backwards to make sure your next career is rewarding and on an upswing. That is what I would have done had I been in your shoes. What I did receive, however, was an unfriendly, strongly worded email, and that I should not look to you for any significant financial help in the future. To add insult to the injury, you then implore me to please delete the emails regarding your STD, your request that I provide you antibiotics that you can surreptitiously give to Melinda, and the description of your penis. You also made it clear to me that I am not to refer to redacted, as that is another topic that must remain between the two of us. All of these requests, which I would have done without a second thought, until you were ready to discard me and our friendship.
When you met him 10 years ago, he was convicted of soliciting prostitution. It was reported that you continued to meet with him over several years. What did you do when you found out about his background?
Well, he's dead. So you know, in general,
Allegedly.
you always have to be careful.
Allegedly. He's allegedly deceased. This is what I want to say to this. That's disgusting. But let's think a little bit higher. If you all believe that some billionaires are, first and foremost, I don't believe that he was going this extra mile to try to hide something from his wife, such as the fact that he has an STD. I don't. Listen, this is the truth of the matter. NBA players who are making, I mean, they could be on a rookie contract, just making hundreds of thousands of dollars. This is very uncomfortable for people to hear, but it's the truth, because this is just how it works. Not everybody's relationship, but a lot of their relationships. A lot of women that are dating NBA players understand that they're the pick of the litter. Part of what comes with dating those type of men is going to be other women. You're going to have to be comfortable with that. You're going to have to understand that they're going to sleep around, but you're the person that they come home to. Either like it or don't, you can move on. I'll get somebody to replace you. I'm a millionaire. Right? You want me to believe, you expect me to believe that a billionaire is concerned about what another, nah, he doesn't. I find that hard to believe. I believe these people are living completely different lives. Like when he sits there, a lot of this stuff is marketing. When he sits there with this little collar shirt and, you know, he looks so simple. He looks normal. They do those things on purpose so they can look relatable. Bill Gates, Jeffrey, these people are living completely different lives. Which reminds me, you all may get a kick out of this email. There's an email that was also sent to Jeffrey Epstein from someone named Masha Drakova in 2017. This is what the email said. I found criteria to find smart people. The more Jew you are, the smarter you are. You said you're 98% Jew. You're very smart. My ex-boss is 78% Jew. He is super smart, less smart than you are. I have a close friend, business partner who is 99.3% Jew. He is crazily smart. We take all Jewish people. Sourcing can be done through relatives. Ask them to do a 23andMe test. Do event for everyone who is 98% Jew. Also, all of them are not religious. Do you think it makes sense, right? There's so many layers here. Define Jew for me, because at one time, you all will say it's a religion, but it's also an ethnicity. But if you go to that foreign nation, from my understanding, they prohibit DNA tests. Many people in that country, their origin dates back to Europe. They have a European descent. What are you defining as Jew? But that goes into a whole different conversation. What are you defining as Semitic? It's just a whole different conversation. That's weird to me. Talking like this. This is, by definition, this is racist. You say, well, they said good things. No, you should be upset. If you consider yourself Jew, you should be upset with this email. You should feel away. Why? Because it's generalizing. Even if it's something that compliments you, you should be offended. If you're offended by everything else, how is this not anti-Semitic? How is this not anti-Semitic? All right, let's go over to the DOJ. Let's listen as we transition to Mr. Trump and the now deleted. They went and deleted the Epstein files and the portions that were quote unquote exposing Trump. Even though we already covered a video, what was it? a week and a half ago of Mr. Sasha Riley, former Iraq war veteran, who alleges that Epstein, I believe, Supreme Court Judge Clarence Thomas, Jim Jordan, and Senator Lindsey Graham, along with Donald Trump, alleges that these people conspired in a ring that he was a victim of at 5 years old. This is a real person that has come out and said this. Directly accuses our president. Let's listen to what the DOJ said and how they introduced this. I found this to be extremely interesting.
Pushing politics aside and everyone else aside, some of the victims of Epstein have expressed frustration with the entire process. I want to give you the opportunity to speak directly to them.
Well, I don't know what you're speaking to. I mean, if there's frustration with, quote, the entire process, same here. I mean, you have a situation where for many, many years, nobody even breathed a word about Jeffrey Epstein. And then all of a sudden, it was all anybody would talk about going into the...
This is so weird. First off, who cares? Right? Like who cares? If there is a leak in your house, there's an odor in your house, the trash needs to be taken out, but you get there and it stinks, are you going to just complain and say, for 2 days while I was gone, no one took the trash out? Or are you going to still do something about it? It still needs to be taken out, bro. Just take care of it. You would only complain about it if removing that trash would expose you in some way. If fixing that leak would expose you in some way. Why do you care? Who cares? But that aside, it's also not true what you just said. There are many people that were speaking about this. Jeffrey Epstein was spoken about, especially after the Netflix documentary that came out on him. Why do you care? What you're talking about is there wasn't as much pressure on the Kamala Harris, Joe Biden administration. Who cares? It's a problem that needs to be dealt with. And the truth is, whether you like it, whether you feel like it's fair or not, Trump was a lot more affiliated and closer and has a much longer history with Epstein, or at least a public history with Jeffrey Epstein than Joe Biden did. So it's kind of hard from an optics perspective to overlook this. Who cares, dude? And I have to say, this guy looks extremely nervous. He sounds extremely nervous.
Last spring and summer, culminating in the passage of the Transparency Act. And President Trump has said for years what I think everybody will find to be exactly true, which is detailing his relationship and lack thereof with Mr. Epstein and what he thought about Mr. Epstein. And notwithstanding what the department has been saying for a very long time, we're still where we are today. Listen, victims of Mr. Epstein have gone through unspeakable pain, and there's nobody that should say anything differently. And I to the extent that there's frustration, I understand where that comes from, just from what we know about Mr. Epstein. I hope that the work that the men and women within this department have done over the past 2 months hopefully is able to bring closure. I think that what we told our reviewers is that was the goal. You know, there's this mantra out there that, the Department of Justice is supposed to protect Donald J. Trump. And that's what we were telling. That's not true. That was never the case. We are always concerned about the victims. When we said that.
Well, if that's true, how come you all deleted the files that implicated Trump? The files we're about to read here in a moment. If there's nothing to hide, all of this is a show, though. I understand that. I don't even need you all to tell me. I know. I already get it. All of this is theatrics, because you know not to release anything that implicates our president, whether you like Trump or not, because it's just bad for the country. That's just the truth of it. You won't allow anything like that to happen unless it's supposed to. You know, the moment you release it, you can delete it later, but Once it hits the internet, it's over. It's forever. These people already understand that. In war, and this is a spiritual war, it's always important not to underestimate your enemy. There's nothing wrong with giving them credit because you recognize how great they are, how strategic they are. And the truth is, these people are extremely strategic. They're very advanced in their strategies. They're playing games on us, man. I mean, it's just the truth.
We were not legally allowed to release documents. That's a fact. That was true. It remains true today. And then with the Act's passage, we are able now and directed to release documents, which is what we are doing. But so hopefully some of those frustrations are now eased. Listen, any victim that wants to speak with the department has done so. Hopefully, if not, they should. The prosecutors from this case in New York have given hundreds, if not thousands, of hours to working with victims, and that's what we do every day, and that's what we did in this case as well. So,
very quickly, can you assure the American public that President Trump, like every other prominent person whose name came up in relation to the Epstein files, that all documents, photos, and anything relevant to him connected to the case are being released?
I mean, yes, I can assure that we complied with the statute, we complied with the Act, and there is no, we did not protect President Trump, we didn't protect or not protect anybody. I mean, I think that there's a hunger or a thirst for information that I do not think will be satisfied by the review of these documents.
That's a very interesting thing to say, bro. People just want the truth. People just want the truth. We want to know how Epstein, who seemingly had no skill, became this incredibly rich individual, right? Tucker Carlson went on a rant at Charlie Kirk's event back in July, and it's just spot on. It rings true to this day. How can a person like that just run free and be allowed to be in a position to have blackmail on people? You know, it's a legitimate question. So let's go over and read. Once again, please hit the like button as you come in. I would really, really appreciate it. It helps a lot. Really, really helps a lot. If we can get up about 1,500 likes, that would be great. Let's go over and read the files that they actually redacted. And let me make sure I didn't miss anything here before we hop over here. Okay, we got it all. All right. Let's see what they redacted on Mr. Trump. Okay. So it says here, underage girl claims Trump forced OS. That's what we're going to call it, OS. This was released yesterday morning. Very interesting. Bombshell allegation in the latest Epstein files document release. An underage girl claims she was forced to perform OS on Donald Trump approximately 35 years ago in New Jersey. Now, objectively speaking, I will say it's just very odd when something comes forward 35 years ago. Like, I'm always curious how they can prove these things. But I'm also interested in curious just the timing of it all, you know? I do think about that, objectively speaking. So this is one of the redactions, something that was deleted, but someone, I guess, screenshotted this. Now, let me go make sure you all can clearly see that. Let's do it this way. Perfect. So it says, blank reported an unidentified female friend who was forced to perform OS on President Trump approximately 35 years ago. And in J, these ads are crazy. The friend told Alexis that she was approximately 13 to 14 years old when this occurred, and the friend allegedly bit President Trump while performing OS. The friend was allegedly hit in the face after she laughed about biting President Trump. The friend said she was also abused by Epstein. Someone, it says, spoke with caller who identified blank was friend. Lead was sent to Washington office to conduct an interview. The allegation is from a document in the files that describes a tip was sent to the feds. The complaint summary says the feds were told the underage girl was approximately 13 to 14 years old when the alleged incident occurred, and it says the alleged victim allegedly bit Trump. Okay, so we already read this. Another allegation which the feds deemed not credible is from a female who claimed she was a victim and witness to a ring at the Trump golf course in Rancho Palos, California between 1995 and 1996, involving big orgy parties with young girls, older Victoria's Secret models, and celebs like Trump, Bill Clinton, and Robin Leach. And we all know that Lex, what is his name? The guy who was affiliated with the guy who basically made Epstein. Is it Lex Wegler? Chad's gonna know. Talk to me, Chad. Is it Lex Wegler who owned Victoria's Secret? Wexner, thank you. Lex Wexner. I already found it weird. How that's a whole different conversation. It's very similar to the very similar to the modeling conversation. On Patreon, we reacted to a documentary a few months ago of models from the early 2000s, late 90s, that exposed what the modeling industry is actually about. And it's nobody should be shocked about it. I always said that if, you know, the Most High blesses me to have a little girl, there are several things that I'm skeptical of my little girl involving in. Even gymnastics, I'm skeptical about the way she would participate. The clothing, like just certain things we've normalized, it's weird. And nobody sees it as anything wrong. Booty shorts and these weird spandex. Like there's other attire that you can wear that's comfortable and more appropriate, where certain body parts aren't hanging out your shorts and no, out your clothes. No, certain things have been normalized on purpose. And the people that helped normalize it, that was behind the marketing to help normalizing it, are loving it. The modeling industry is that. When I watched that documentary, I was like, wow. They were talking about the way girls actually win. So when we cover the Erica Kirk thing, it's no surprise. It's not just who's the prettiest. It's not just who walks the best. Who had like what? That's weird in itself. Walk for me. Let me check you out from different angles, but we're going to call it professional. If you're on stage, it's not creepy. But the moment you step off stage, I can check you out and it can be considered creepy. But the moment you're on stage, I'm just doing my job. That's weird. That's weird. All right, I went on a rant. Let's see if there's anything else here. The documents say the feds got a call from a female who claimed to be a prisoner, and they referenced Lisa Marie Presley, the British royal family, Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. The feds say they were unable to contact the woman who lived in Australia. Very interesting. Why is Epstein looking at her like, get away from us. You're a little bit too old. That's crazy. Another allegation is from a woman who claims she was 13 years old and pregnant in 1984 when she was forced to perform OS acts. She told the feds she was inappropriately transported by high-profile individuals and that Trump regularly paid her money to force her to perform certain acts. She also alleged Trump was present when her uncle, unalived her newborn child. The Fed say they were unable to contact the woman. A different caller who the feds were unable to make contact with alleged a friend thought she had been raped by Trump in 1987 at Trump Plaza. Interesting. This picture is just interesting altogether. Another caller who the feds say did not leave contact information claimed Trump had parties at Mar-a-Lago called Calendar Girls, where Epstein would bring children and Trump would auction them off. The caller claimed that Trump measured the girls. Okay. 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 Yeah, we can't read that. The caller alleged party guests included Elon Musk, Donald Trump Jr., Ivanka Trump, Eric Trump, Alan Dershowitz, and Bob Shapiro. The caller claimed she and others were taken into rooms and forced to give OS to Trump. She alleged they were forced to allow them to. Oh, okay. She claimed she was 13 when Trump did this to her and that Ghislaine Maxwell was present. This is insanity, man. This is what I will say. Do you understand what this is doing in this country? Normalizing isn't the word. It's desensitizing. Yeah, man. For things like this to be even alleged about a sitting president, I mean, y'all, like, but again, as I always say, if you haven't seen my Donald Trump, the Dark Magician video, where we cover Donald Trump, Freemasonry, people that's in his administration, and how they are tied to other historical events. I don't know, like an historical event that took place in September in the early 2000s that we can't speak about, that involved some buildings going down. I would highly encourage you all to go. If I can remember, I'll link that as well in the description. That will help a lot for those of you that are newer to the channel. Crazy. Crazy, man. Okay. Let's get to your comments, man. Gina, thank you so much for the $50 super chat. I finally figured out how to donate through super chat. I'm going to split up my donation that I tried to Zelle to you. Oh, you're the one I was talking to. Thank you. So I can say, send you more. So I can say more. Much love and many prayers for you and yours. Thank you. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you so much. This is she reached out to me. She was wanting to donate money. She know I'm saving up for a wedding later this year. And so she wanted to help, and I appreciated that. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you. And Nicole, I know you're the one that politely asked me to just be more considerate when I'm changing the times of my lives. But like I said in the beginning, it's not intentional. I do it if it's necessary, you know. So, but thank you. Thank you so much, as always. And I saw who you said that you watch, other content creators. I think you have a good selection of people. Thanks, Didi. And Miss God has a calling for you. Thank you so much, Miss Renee. I appreciate the $2 super chat. Sharon, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Didi, I love your show. Keep telling us true news. I believe Kanye has turned his life around. It's deeper than that. I think it's some other things going on with Kanye. I believe Kanye West is a victim of MK Ultra. I do. And MK Ultra isn't just they tie him up to a machine and they mess with his brain. It's also a form of MK Ultra is medicating people. And yeah, Always medicating people. That's another way. There's like maybe 4 or 5 different strategies. And I believe Kanye West has experienced multiple different forms of MK Ultra. They look alike. My bad, bro. I ain't catch you in time. That's 422. So that could have been in reference to anything. But I appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat, Renee. Once again, Didi, thank you. Best community ever. Well, I appreciate that. I just want to say that the most demonic things in those files will never come out because it involves, yep. It involves children and animals. Yep. And again, if you delve enough into this, like the things that they'll call a conspiracy theory, many of those things, even though they've been proven to be true over the past maybe 4 or 5 years, they're going to continue to call things conspiracy theories. And that's why we're going to continue to say, we just make sure you get our pronouns right. I told you so. My pronouns are I told you so. But yeah, if you delve into those things, you'll know that it's ritualistic. Les Wexner was Epstein's, allegedly. There's a lady I'm trying to get on. She's one of Epstein's victims. She interviewed with another YouTuber like a year ago. And I've been trying to, I've spoken to her once or twice, and I'm just trying to get her to come onto the show. But of course, if she's not comfortable with it, she doesn't have to. But if I believe her name is Julie, if I can get her to respond, yeah, I'll ask all the right questions. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat, David. Will you do a show on Operation Pogo? I've never heard of Operation Pogo. I trust no one anymore except you. Operation Pogo. Pogo. I'll look into that for sure. Definitely. I appreciate you for putting me on. I'll read a few regular comments and then before I get up out of here. Darn it, I came at the end. Now you can always, hey Marcel's, you can always go to the beginning though, big dog. I'm still glad you're here, bro. I just ordered Hollywood Babylon. That's a great start. Great start. There's a few books I could recommend. Maybe that's something I've also considered doing is starting a book club. It also forces me to read more, which I need to do. And we can read books together. I don't know how many of you all would actually pay for that and sign up for that book club where we meet maybe once a month, maybe twice a month, once every 2 weeks. And we pick a book out and we read it together collectively. That would be dope. Maybe I'll start a poll, man, and see how many people will be down to do that. And I know a lot of you all like longer lives and a lot of you all like shorter lives. I'm only going to do longer lives when necessary. I try to keep them somewhere around an hour unless I need to go longer. MK Ultra makes it impossible for you to live up to God, his image, love in our heart. Yeah, it's a lot of moving parts with that. It's all about manipulation and control. Trump was the one who helped convict Epstein and nobody else did. So y'all need to be careful accusing him of these things. So I didn't accuse Trump of anything. I told you what I believe may have happened. But this is what I'll say, AJ, in return. This is in all due respect. There are a lot of things that are happening on the world stage that is not what they appear to be. So, for example, I've already alleged that I believe that it's a strong possibility Jeffrey Epstein was never in jail. I'm not saying that's a fact. That's what I believe is possible. And I believe that it only helps Trump when Epstein goes into jail. He's the one that was responsible for it or helped do it. But then when he also loses his life, it also ties to the Trump administration. And when they were in, it just all the timing of all of those things are not coincidences. We don't even know if Epstein is alive or not. And I have almost completely changed the way I talk on YouTube because I have to be careful with what I say and what I don't. I speak more freely on Patreon, but yeah. Backing up Trump is the last thing you want to do because, again, you don't know these people. These things is theater. Ye's apology may be similar to Neo retracting his apology issue by his publicist. I'm actually not familiar. What did Neo apologize for? I wasn't familiar that he apologized for anything. But I'm going to look into Operation Pogo, though, for sure. Thank you so much for the $14 super chat. Come on, Diddy. I love everything you're doing. I appreciate that. Hey, shout out to the Trae Young profile picture. He going through it right now, bro. I'm curious to see where he's going to land. Some people are saying that the league has left him behind. We'll see, though. If he get the right situation, he'll mess around and win a championship and shut everybody up. But again, thank you for the content. All the best with the savings and celebrations. My sister just had her engagement party yesterday. Truth, no matter what, everyone. We are all we are well fed up with the BS. That's a fact. Bobcat, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Thank you so much. Is it Jerushi? Jerushi full. That's a very interesting word. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Oh, Diddy, I know how Trump said now have the tallest building. And I mean like right after the second. Yeah. I'm going to just let people read that. I'm not going to say it out loud. I don't want YouTube to flag me. But yeah, very good observation. And if you dig into Trump's history, his family's history, yeah, it gets tricky. These are all things we've covered, though. But all right, y'all, I'm not going to make the video too long. Hop in the comments as always and give me your thoughts. I always want to know what you all think. My thoughts are not the only ones that matter. I pray you all have a great rest of your day. If I can talk. Yeah. Appreciate you all for tuning in. I'm going to catch you all in the next one. I'm Demetrius. I go by Didi. Peace. Oh, yeah. Didi got a pie.
Attitudes and our work ethic become very important in realizing our goals and opening up possibilities. I had lunch a couple of weeks ago with a recent graduate at UCA. And his story is really fascinating. It's one of overcoming homelessness during his time pursuing his degree, first at a community college here in Arkansas, and then finishing his bachelor's degree here at UCA. His narrative ranges from estrangement from family for many years to a hopeful reunion with mother and siblings. His record is one of overcoming odds in a way that I probably could not, and certainly demonstrating levels of tenacity and patience and optimism that I can only marvel at. He wanted to talk with me about his new job and his career path going forward. I really need to be there to learn from him because that's where the real value was.
Everything I say in this video is alleged. Allegedly. No such thing as a life that's better than yours. Y'all just repeat after me. I really appreciate it. Alright. No such thing. Come on, we can do better than that. Talk to me. Alright, let's start it over. No such thing as a life that's better than yours. You're worse than the rich white people or the rich white Jews that own these record labels because they don't even understand these populations. You have a lot closer relationship to these people and you're leading them to hellfire. You are leading them in the wrong direction in the name of getting rich and famous. How dare you? Oh yeah, Diddy got a podcast.